The Young and the Restless scoop for Wednesday, November 12th reveals Sienna Bacall will threaten to call the police on her husband. Also coming up, Billy Abbott will surprise Sally Spectra. Plus, Nick Newman will confront Sienna and Noah Newman. And Sharon Newman will continue to blast Mitch Bacall, aka Matt Clark. Y&R, spoilers tease Sally, will join Billy at the jazz club bar. She'll say she tried to let Audra Charles down easy. However, she plans to continue to fight to make her friend part of their team. Billy will tell her Kane Ashby isn't having a good day. He ran into Kane and Phyllis Summers at the park, and he was rattled. Sally will tell him it really scares her when he gets focused on revenge. But Billy will say he's just enjoying watching Kane freak out. However, he'll also say he's committed to cleaning up his act and suggest they toast to it. They'll clink glasses. Sally will take a sip of her drink and say it's ginger ale. "That's because you asked the bartender to have what I'm having, and that's what you got," Billy will reply. Sally will ask if he's not drinking anymore. "I'm giving up all the crutches that stop me from being the best I can potentially be," he'll reply. At the shadow room, Mitch will continue to lie, saying he's not Matt Clark. "I know exactly who you are, Matt," Sharon will shout. "I don't buy your act for 1 second." Sharon will tell Matt he should be glad they're in a public space. It's the only thing keeping her from ripping his eyes out. "Noah's father was here and clocked me in the jaw. Does that sound like I'm the violent one?" He'll reply. "The truth is, I'm not the person you think I am." Matt will say he's going to have her and Nick banned from his club. Then Sharon will threaten to make him suffer before she ends his miserable life. She'll take off and end up back in her hotel room. And she'll leave an emotional voicemail for Phyllis. Shortly after, she'll call Nick and leave him a message. Meanwhile, Nick will barge into Noah's hospital room. "Sorry to interrupt," he'll say, as Sienna pulls away from Noah's kiss. "I didn't expect you to come back tonight," Noah will say to his dad. "Obviously," Nick will reply to this. He'll ask to speak to Sienna alone, and he'll ask if she's having an affair with his son. But she'll say it's on Noah to tell him what he wants him to know. Nick will continue to interrogate Sienna about the night of the crash. She'll say she told him the truth about that night, and she has no idea who wanted to hurt him. "Not even your husband," Nick will reply. "I have known Matt since he was a teenager, and he committed horrible crimes against Noah's mother." Sienna will ask why he isn't locked up. "He disappeared a couple of decades ago, and we all thought he was dead," he'll reply. Sienna will roll her eyes and tell Nick it's quite some story he's made up. She'll assure him her husband isn't Matt Clark, and she'll say he knows nothing about her and Noah. Then Sienna will leave, so Nick will walk into Noah's room and ask why he didn't tell him about Sienna. "How serious is this?" he'll ask. Noah will say he thinks about her all the time. Nick will ask how much knows about Sienna's husband. He'll tell his son not to go near either one of them either again. "Dad, what is it you're not telling me?" Noah will ask. Then Sharon will walk in and ask what's going on. Nick will tell her he walked in on Noah and Sienna in a compromising position. Noah will ask his parents what they're keeping from him. "Mitch Bacall isn't who you think he is," Nick will reply. "It's an alias. He is someone who hurt your mother badly multiple times." But he won't believe them. "Get out," he'll tell his parents. "I want to be alone." Finally, Sienna will return to the shadow room. She'll approach her husband and say she knows the truth now. "Are you going to keep lying to me about everything, or are you going to finally come clean?" Matt will say not her too. "I've had a really unpleasant evening so far," he'll add. So, Sienna will show him a picture on her phone and say it's him. 20 years ago in Genoa City, Matt Clark." She'll tell her husband she wants answers now, or she's going to the police. "You listen to me," Matt will threaten. Going to the police would be a really, really big mistake. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Thursday, November 13th, reveal that fans will see the Newmans in attack mode while Billy Abbott gets blindsided. Kane Ashby will also play defense, so let's talk about all the drama ahead in Genoa City. For starters, Adam Newman and Victor Newman will have a strategy session. Although Adam obviously has reservations about going after Jack Abbott and Jabot, he won't mind targeting Billy. That may even be part of the creative distraction Adam cooks up since Victor ordered one. Victor wants Adam to do something big and bold that'll keep the Abbotts occupied, so making a mess for Billy might tie in with that plan. Whatever the case, Adam and Victor will be on the same page about taking advantage of their chance to hurt Billy. Although Billy tends to stay on guard when it comes to the Newmans, it looks like he'll still be blindsided by their next move. Despite Billy's promise to Sally about shifting away from revenge and focusing on the future, his vengeful desires are sure to bubble up again. Billy may not be able to keep his word once the Newmans rile him up and leave him craving payback. As for Kane, he'll have to play defense on Thursday's Y&R episode. Lily Winters may rip into Kane over the stolen AI program, which is now being used against his own company. Since there's constantly bad news to deliver to the twins, Lily may have a huge problem with that and wonder when Kane's going to start cleaning up his act. Although Kane will rush to his own defense, he'll be pretty down in the dumps. That could lead to Kane leaning on Phyllis Summers, despite his theft suspicions, since they'll get caught in a scandalous position before the week's over. In the meantime, Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair will lock in some final wedding arrangements. As Christine and Danny's big day gets closer, they'll try to make sure everything's ready for this wonderful event to remember. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Danny and Christine's nuptials will bring some fun surprises, so stick with us for updates on any other wedding-related details. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of November 17th to 21 hint that Claire Newman will rattle Audra Charles, while Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, plots a dirty move. A wedding will also kick off, so here's what Y&R fans can look forward to. Now that Claire is home and armed with intel she can use against Audra, she may finally corner her and gloat over the news. Claire doesn't know the full version of what happened with Audra and Holden Novak in Los Angeles, but she knows enough to taunt Audra and make her nervous. Even if Audra acts nonchalant about the whole thing, she'll be dealing with some anxiety under the surface. Claire may be satisfied with the stolen cashier's check story for now, but there could be trouble if she goes digging any deeper. As for Holden, he may find himself feeling blue and a little irritated over Claire's rejection. Claire may keep finding excuses to distance herself from Holden and leave him hurt since they got so close during their trip. However, Claire isn't sure she's cut out for the edgy lifestyle Holden likes. Since Claire also can't give Kyle Abbott the marriage and move-in commitments he's after, she's trying to distance herself from him too. Even so, Kyle may not give up on winning Claire's heart back, even if he has to date her casually for a bit. Of course, Holden may not surrender either, so we'll see if his charm can reel Claire in again. As for Lily Winters, she'll flip out following a disturbing discovery. Y&R fans will see Lily react to finding Kane Ashby and Phyllis Summers in a situation where they seem too close for comfort. Lily obviously won't be happy about that, so she may lash out in disgust soon enough. In the meantime, Noah Newman will realize he was wrong to doubt Sharon Newman and Nick Newman about the dangerous threat Mitch, aka Matt, poses. After Noah gets spooked, he may fear he could still be at risk along with Sienna Miller due to their affair. There'll indeed be good reasons to worry, since Matt will be plotting another dirty move. Nick and Sharon will scheme to neutralize Matt, but they'll have to be careful since Matt is such an unsettling wild card. Back in Genoa City, Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti's wedding will begin on November 21st, so look for Nina Webster and Gina Roma to return for the big event. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Danny and Christine's nuptials will bring some memorable moments, so stay tuned for updates on whether Phyllis might cause another snag or two. On The Young and the Restless, are fans right? Is Audra right? Is Holden just using Claire for sex? This is a hot topic at the moment, with many saying that Claire and Holden have great chemistry. Fans and viewers are all over the Soap Central message boards discussing whether Holden is no good and only uses Claire for sex. Audra has said as much, and now fans are weighing in on where they stand on this. 24. Casey's 6. I knew it anyway. Just didn't want to interrupt your latest conquest, huh, Holden? Dude is slime. Glad Audra also added on as to how he did not tell Claire how deep his part goes into what happened. I believe firmly he killed the dude, got rid of the body, then he got a whopping $100,000 for his cut, his involvement, to protect Audra. Dedicated soaper, Holden never would have had sex with Claire if she didn't initiate it first. He kept asking her if she was sure. I'm not going to accuse him of doing something he didn't do. They both have feelings for each other. Audra has no room to talk about anyone else when she got where she is from her backside. Henny Viro too. Exactly. It was all on Claire, and they would have never had sex if she had not initiated it. Holden was a real gentleman and kept on asking her if she was sure. Seriously, let's not accuse Holden of doing something he did not do. He never once tried to have sex with Claire. He was a gentleman. It was Claire who initiated the sex, not Holden, and he kept on asking her if she was sure she wanted to have sex with him. She initiated the sex. Captain KC, Holden is a bit slick, no doubt. Likely also a player, but I think he's actually interested in Claire. Her being a Newman doesn't hurt. But I don't know why people act like he's some horrible predator. He's not squeaky clean, and if he were, fans would call him boring. The fans are split, but there are some solid thoughts there. And no, Claire is not some naive teenager. She's capable of independent thought, and she knew what she was doing. Plus, is Audra really in any position to judge anyone? Glass houses, etc.? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Detective Burrow may be facing death or redemption. When Matt Cohen spilled on his character's future in a new interview with SOD, he presented those two possibilities and shared the one he thinks Detective Burrow is headed for. For starters, Cohen acknowledged that there must be a reason why Detective Burrow is involved in all this shadiness. Detective Burrow is a dirty cop who's accepting Mitch Bacall, aka Matt Clark's money, in exchange for following orders. However, Cohen admitted he thinks there's more to it than Burrow's detective job not paying him well enough. But I highly doubt in Soapland that it's as simple a reason as that, if you know what I'm saying. Be suspicious, Cohen insisted. Of course, if there's some deeper explanation for why Burrow is doing what he's doing, that could open the door to him protecting someone he cares about, or something along those lines. Regardless, Matt Cohen feels like it's important for every character to work towards some redemptive path, unless the plan is for them to face a grim fate. I think every character, good or bad, has to have some sort of redemption, or we just hate them, and we gotta kill them off, and a bus hits them tomorrow, Cohen said. Cohen is indeed holding out hope for redemption when it comes to Detective Burrow. As the Y&R star and General Hospital alum reflected on playing other deeply troubled characters in the past, he suggested there still tends to be some redeeming factor involved. Cohen predicted the writers would ultimately choose redemption for Detective Burrow, so stay tuned for updates on whether he'll be proven right in the end. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Detective Burrow will remain tangled up in Matt's drama in the meantime, so stick with us for any unsettling news to come. When we last saw the Young and the Restless Michael, he was talking to Victor at the GCAC, and Victor asked him to do a background check on Sienna. Victor is curious to know what her connection is to Noah, and whether she was involved in Noah's car crash somehow. We have yet to hear what Michael discovered, if anything. Does he know that Sienna's husband, Mitch, is really Matt Clark? Over a week ago, on The Young and the Restless, Victor assigned Michael with the task of researching Sienna Bacall's background. He told Michael she runs the Shadow Room nightclub in LA, and she is an acquaintance of Noah's. Since Noah was last seen in the Shadow Room before the car crash, could Michael find out whether she had anything to do with the crash? Since Victor gave Michael that assignment, Sharon and Nick made the shocking discovery that Mitch is really Matt Clark, the man who raped Sharon over 20 years ago. We know how sharp Michael is, so he may stumble upon this information when he researches Sienna. Last week on The Young and the Restless, Nick told Sharon not to tell Nikki and Victoria that Matt Clark is alive, and that Mitch is really Matt. He wants to find out what Mitch's endgame is first. He knew that if Sharon revealed the news to his mother and sister, they would then tell Victor. But what if Michael finds out this stunning news and he tells Victor? It feels unrealistic that Nick wants to keep this discovery between Sharon and himself. He knows the second Victor gets the news, all he needs to do is call his people, and they will instantly handle the Matt Clark problem. Why is Nick making this situation harder for himself and Sharon than it needs to be? Unfortunately, Nick always lets his temper get the best of him and lets his fists do the talking. When he returned to the shadow room and saw with his own eyes that Mitch is indeed Matt, he punched him in the face. Sienna had to act as the peacemaker and get in between them. Let's hope Michael finds out that Sienna's husband is not who he says he is. The sooner he learns the truth, the sooner he can report back to Victor and fill him in on the fact that Matt is most likely targeting Noah as a way of getting revenge against Nick and Sharon. Or is the real reason because Matt knows Sienna is cheating on him with Noah? Either way, Matt won't want to go up against Victor. He will lose. Since Nick doesn't like to deal with his enemies in a civil way, maybe he should step back and let his father take care of Matt. At least Victor would be keeping the entire Newman family safe, which would be a more productive way for him to spend his time than to wreak havoc on other GC businesses with the dangerous and illegal AI program. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, will follow the Newmans back to Genoa City. Josh Griffith, who serves as Y&R's head writer and executive producer, recently previewed Part 2 of this exciting story in an interview with SOD. Sharon Newman and Nick Newman clearly aren't afraid to stand up to Matt, who somehow survived and is back to wreak more havoc. This whole situation has rattled Nick and Sharon, but they're determined to protect Noah Newman and everyone else they care about. Josh Griffith talked about Sharon's willingness to fight back against Matt, but he admitted this was mostly a battle between Matt and Nick. Y&R fans will see more hero and villain showdowns as Nick works to keep Matt away from his loved ones. Of course, things won't go according to plan. Although Nick and Sharon will do their best to spook Matt into submission, their efforts won't keep him contained to Los Angeles. It won't be long until Matt's following the Newmans home to GC for another round of chaos. That's going to set the stage for some additional Matt shockers and new victims. They are hoping that everything in the denouement of the Los Angeles part of the story will have so scared him off that he'd be foolish to come after them. But they're wrong. Second act is definitely they return to Genoa City, and Matt and all his trouble follow, Josh Griffith promised. Griffith added that this turns into a nightmare for the entire Newman clan, so Matt's revenge will definitely cause quite a stir. It'll be interesting to see just how far Matt goes to make the Newmans miserable, but he's obviously messing with the wrong family. That's especially true considering Victor Newman is a protective patriarch with endless power. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Part 2 of this storyline will bring even more dangerous news and dirty tricks, so we'll bring you updates on all the curveballs. Christine and Danny are ready to say, I do. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, November 13th, reveal that Victor and Adam are gunning for Billy, which gives a new definition to punching down. It's not enough for Victor that he baits Billy every time they meet. It's not enough for Victor that he got Jill to take Chancellor Industries away from Billy and sell it to Victor so he could give it to Nikki to run. It's not enough for Victor that he now owns Kane's mystery computer program. He's already brought Kane to his knees and intends to do the same to Jack shortly. Nah. He and Adam also need to smother Billy's nascent communications company in the crib before it even has the chance to debut. Adam better run along and do that, or else Daddy might not love him. Again, Danny and Christine were originally going to get married in October. Then they were going to get married in November. It's November, and they're ready to get married. Cricket has picked her gown, and Danny has his best man and his set list. Now all they need to do is make sure Phyllis doesn't decide to crash and insist on making the toast. We've already heard everything she has to say, and it hasn't made sense up to this point. Odds are it won't. Ever. Kane has been defeated by Phyllis, who, as always, can't believe that a brilliant plan of hers has backfired spectacularly, and by Victor, who isn't surprised that he has succeeded brilliantly yet again. He always does. But Kane isn't quite ready to roll over and play dead. He has one more move left, and now is the time to use it. Viewers felt that Holden and Claire's storyline was like watching a different show. Claire may want to forget about what happened in Los Angeles with Holden, but fans of The Young and the Restless don't want to. They claim their passionate love affair brought out a different side to the CBS soap. Claire made a choice in her love triangle. She ended up choosing herself. However, Y&R fans want more of Holden and Claire's smoldering passion. Their trip to LA brought out a different side to both of them. Viewers also feel that it livened up the soap. It all started on a soap opera message board, where the original poster declared, "Holden and Claire give the show a totally different vibe." That same user continued, "It was like watching a different show." Some other viewers agreed. One person wrote, "I like Claire with Holden. I'm hoping there's nothing bad about Holden that they find out that can't be resolved if he and Claire do go on with each other." Holden admitted that he's still keeping a big secret from Claire. He gave her a sanitized version of what happened that night in LA with Audra. The truth is about to come out, and it's not going to look good for him. Still, fans want them to end up together. Claire and Holden deserve a chance to flourish on Y&R. Their chemistry is just too good to let go. "Fire! Just like I knew it would be! So much heat! I love them!" someone else exclaimed. Other viewers were still in shock over the passionate scenes. It quickly turned into a heated debate over whether Claire and Holden make a good match or not. One fan commented, "Just as I thought, she's going from Shirley Temple to the town tramp." That person argued that Claire's transition isn't believable since she claimed to have been groomed by her great-aunt, Jordan. Claire might be hiding the inner bad girl she always wanted to let out. Meanwhile, another viewer bluntly wrote, "They made me sick today." Surprisingly, there are also fans who feel bad for Kyle, who returned to LA to spend time with Harrison. One viewer wrote, "I do not like Claire at all after this show. Kyle never had sex with Audra, but she went all the way with Holden, who I believe is a total player." Arguably, Kyle slept with Audra while he was still married to Summer. The two shared a steamy kiss in Nice while he was in a towel. Even though they were able to control themselves, he still kept that big secret from Claire. Do they look a little too close for comfort? The Thursday, November 13th, spoiler photos for The Young and the Restless feature a whole lot of Daniel and Tessa. While the weekly teasers focus on Victor and Adam seizing the opportunity to attack Billy, Kane defending himself, and Cricket and Danny finalizing their wedding plans. It's Daniel and Tessa who take center stage in the following photos. In the above slideshow, Tessa appears to be seeking comfort in Daniel's arms in the middle of Crimson Lights. Tessa may be reaching out to Daniel because she hasn't heard from Mariah in a long time. Earlier this week, Sharon told Nick that she hasn't been able to talk to her daughter, but she has been leaving messages for her. Apparently, Mariah is at the point where she's undergoing intense therapy, and the doctors feel she shouldn't have any contact with the outside world. And in not-so-shocking news, Daniel looks affected by having Tessa in his arms. Daniel and Tessa also sit down and have a conversation. Their discussion could involve Danny and Christine's upcoming wedding, since they're supposed to perform there. Or Tessa could open up about Mariah's absence and what that means for her and Arya. Or they could end up talking about the feelings they both have for each other. There are a ton of topics they could explore while venting and sipping coffee, getting to the bottom of this confusing mystery. On The Young and the Restless, November 11th, fans finally get to the bottom of this dizzying storyline involving Kane's AI software. Someone has it, and they're bound to cause trouble. Kane had something powerful in his hands. He had an AI program that could take down any top company in Genoa City. Although this little tech is mighty, it has weak security. It's similar to Victor's security team. Someone has stolen Kane's AI program, and he wants to find out who is responsible. Phyllis boldly declared in a public place that she had access to it, and she was going to bring down anyone's company. She might even pull the wool over Kane's eyes. Jack and Diane wanted to get the program from Jill. Their plan was for her to leave it in their trustworthy hands so they could take down Newman Enterprises. And then there's Adam, the so-called Dark Knight. He told Chelsea that he might have the power to take down his own father this time around. Needless to say, this storyline has gotten confusing. On Tuesday's episode, Victor confessed to Nikki. She wanted to know if he teamed up with Kane to take down Jabot. Victor confirmed that the AI software was stolen. Jack thinks he's behind it, but he has no idea why his longtime arch-nemesis would think that. Is the Victor and Jack feud on Y&R played out or soapy goodness? Nikki demanded that Victor tell her the truth. Victor confessed to having the AI program, which Phyllis stole from Kane. She did give it to him, after all. But now Jack is already onto him. So, how is he going to cover his steps? Victor assured Nikki that he wouldn't let the program go loose on Jabot or Jack. He wants to use it on Kane to teach him a lesson. It turns out this AI storyline is more of a social experiment. Victor thinks he can teach Kane a lesson by using this program to acquire Arabesque. Meanwhile, Kane could really be the one who's pulling the strings behind the scenes. He might be letting everyone think he doesn't know what he's doing, but he already has an idea of who has their hands on it. Kane could be using the tech to see who can be trusted or not. He wants to see who's willing to take him down, so he can appear to be the good guy. Maybe the real surprise is that the AI isn't as powerful as he claims, and everyone's just scrambling for power for no reason. Nick's discovery of Noah and Sienna's kiss reignites the Newmans' oldest rivalry and threatens to pull the entire family back into Matt Clark's web. In the November 11th, 25 episode of The Young and the Restless, Nick's discovery of Noah and Sienna's kiss reframed every assumption about what really happened in Los Angeles. What started as a worried father's instinct evolved into a moment of undeniable proof, not just of intimacy, but of deception. The fallout from that single moment could unravel far more than a family's trust. It could reignite one of Genoa City's darkest rivalries. Nick's decision to visit the hospital came from instinct, the same protective pull that's guided him through every Newman crisis. What he found when he arrived wasn't a medical emergency, but an emotional one. Noah, barely recovered, was sharing a charged moment with Sienna, the woman tied to Matt Clark's latest deception. That kiss didn't read as confusion or gratitude. It was a connection. And for Nick, that connection was the confirmation he feared most. Sienna wasn't just part of the chaos surrounding his son's accident. She was inside it. Nick's expression at the door captured the heart of the moment, disbelief edged with fury. For him, it wasn't about betrayal in a romantic sense. It was about history repeating itself. His family's oldest nemesis had once again found a way to reach the people he loves most. Meanwhile, Sharon's confrontation with Mitch Bacall, the man she's certain is Matt Clark, highlighted how trauma never truly disappears. She accused him of being a manipulator and predator, echoing a war she thought ended decades ago. Matt's calm denial only fueled her rage. While she sees through the facade, he thrives on her unraveling. For viewers, Sharon's return to the Shadow Room symbolized how deep this storyline runs. It's not just about Noah's recovery, it's about whether Sharon and Nick can protect their family without losing themselves to the ghosts, ETs of their past. Nick's timing couldn't have been more pivotal. His glimpse of Noah and Sienna together transforms the investigation from suspicion into personal war. Sharon's stability, already shaken by Matt's reappearance, now depends on what Nick decides to reveal and how far he'll go to end this cycle of manipulation. The kiss is less about romance and more about control, proof that the Bacall's reach extends beyond business or revenge. For the Newmans, it's another reminder that victory over their enemies never comes clean. The emotional cost is always higher than they expect. On the Tuesday, November 11th, episode of The Young and the Restless, Victor updated Nikki about the AI program. Middich and Sharon faced off, and Nick witnessed a shocking kiss between Noah and Sienna. Nikki and Victoria returned to Genoa City, and Victor was relieved that his grandson was on the mend. He was worried about the severity of Noah's injuries. The women shared with Victor how terrifying it was to witness Noah lying in a hospital bed, forced into a medically induced coma. The family was hopeful that Noah would recover at home with them instead of returning to London. Victor inquired about the state of the investigation, but Nikki had no additional updates. Victoria was confused as to why the detective had looked into the accident at all if they weren't going to follow through. Nikki urged Victor not to go to any extremes about who targeted Noah, but he revealed that he had Michael looking into Mitch and Sienna. Victoria explained that the club owners were the sole reason Noah was in Los Angeles in the first place, and Nick suspected their involvement in some way. Victor had a bad feeling about the husband because he had virtually no online presence. Victor was surprised to learn how many trips to California Noah had made without informing anyone in his family. Nikki felt like the situation echoed the mystery of Aristotle Duemus. Victor remained certain that Michael could uncover how Mitch connected to Noah's accident. Nikki was surprised that Michael was involved in the investigation. Victoria was happy to hear that Michael was a part of things, but Nikki needed reassurance that Victor hadn't strong-armed him into getting mixed up in it. Victor knew Michael was the best choice to uncover the truth about Noah and Mitch's connection. They were pleased that Victor and Michael appeared on the path toward a friendship reunion. Victoria took off, which left Nikki to question him about the details of Michael and Victor's new understanding. He ignored the subject and asked her how Claire did in Los Angeles, but Nikki was concerned about her involvement with Holden Novak. She also stunned Victor when she revealed that Kyle was also in Los Angeles until Jack abruptly summoned him home. He pretended not to know why Jack was concerned, but he was pleased to hear that Kyle and Claire were on the outs. He didn't want Holden to get close to Claire either. Victor thought Claire should be too busy with Newman Publishing to focus on the messy state of her romantic life. She outright asked Victor if he had teamed up with Kane and his AI program to target Jack and Jabot. Nikki questioned why Jack assumed Victor had possession of the AI program, but Victor feigned ignorance. Nikki stood her ground and demanded that he tell her the truth, and Victor confessed that he had the AI program because of Phyllis's theft. Nikki was surprised that Victor didn't launch an immediate attack on Jack, but he admitted he targeted Kane and used his own program against him. To Victor's astonishment, Nikki was quite pleased with his decision and thought it was the best course of action. Mitch and Detective Burrow met at the Shadow Room, and the detective was concerned about them meeting in public during busy hours. Mitch wanted him to do what he was paid to do and provide updates about Noah's condition. He was adamant about knowing the state of Noah's consciousness and if it would ever change. Burrow was surprised Mitch hadn't heard the news about Noah. The doctors not only revived Noah, but he was alive and well, with no substantial injuries. Mitch didn't appear concerned, but he needed Burrow to have a watchful eye on Noah's news. He explained to Mitch that Noah had 24/7 security outside of Noah's room, so he missed his window to take out Noah. Burrow wanted to be informed about everything he was involved in, but Mitch felt like he was overreaching by assuming he was guilty. The detective brought the conversation back to Noah, and he was worried that someone would start sniffing around, which he found risky. He had no idea how to get close to Noah without alerting the Newmans and other law enforcement members. Burrow was an actual detective, so he had an additional caseload. Yet, much of his time had been dedicated to Mitch's obsession with Noah. Mitch handed Burrow more money to keep him focused on getting rid of Noah's security guard. Sharon couldn't focus on eating dinner with the lingering threat of Matt Clark. Her mind was filled with worry about leaving Noah in the hospital. Nick accused her of hovering and panicking anytime something changed. Sharon referred to Matt as a poison and a disease, and she couldn't understand why he finally resurfaced or what made him target Noah. Nick felt better about the situation since one of Victor's security guards was posted outside of Noah's room. Sharon thought that was a naive stance and stated, "I think Matt Clark is capable of doing some impossible things." Nick promised to check in with the security guard to ease Sharon's anxiety. Nothing was all right with Sharon, though. She couldn't believe that things had come to this state of devolution. Sharon hoped Noah was getting rest, and she felt responsible for someone luring Noah into danger because of their past. Matt's dark and vindictive behavior was a calculated power play to eventually get inside Nick and Sharon's heads. Sharon wondered if Sienna was in on Matt's plot, but Nick asked her to sit down so they could take a breath and think things through rationally. Nick wanted Sharon to keep up her strength so they could put more pieces together every day. Sharon recalled encountering Matt at the Shadow Room and how he tried to gaslight her into believing he was Mitch. Since Matt was aware that they knew about his identity, they needed to be cautious about Matt's next move. Nick harkened back to Noah's shifty behavior about Sienna and Mitch, and he knew their son was keeping a megawatt secret from them. Sharon questioned what Noah was withholding from them, and she believed that Noah had uncovered Matt's identity, which led to Noah's accident. Nick didn't think Noah pieced together who Matt really was, but he did think that Noah possessed more knowledge about that faithful night than he was willing to divulge. They realized Noah didn't want to speak about that night, so between the time he woke up and the time they started asking questions, he clammed up. Sharon demanded that Noah start telling them what happened, but Nick cautioned her against causing him to shut down. Nick received a call from the guard, who informed him that a woman had somehow infiltrated Noah's hospital room, and he requested to be kept in the loop. Sharon assumed it was Sienna, and Nick agreed. Nick headed to the hospital to uncover Sienna's intentions regarding Noah, and he asked Sharon to stay at the hotel. However, as soon as the coast was clear, she took off. Whoever Noah was trying to protect would not be possible with Matt involved. Nick asked for an update on Mariah, but she hadn't heard from her. He wanted to ensure she could handle the weight of 2 of her children in crisis, and he vowed to help her through it all. Sharon was dumbfounded that Matt was somehow still entangled in their orbit. They weren't certain Matt was out of town at the time of the accident, but they figured he thought Noah would be the key to getting under their skin. With the security guard distracted, Sienna snuck into Noah's hospital room, and she apologized for his condition. Noah woke up, and he was pleasantly surprised to see her. He asked what she was worried about, and she replied, "All of it. This never should have happened to you." He admitted his memory wasn't fully pieced back together, and Sienna encouraged him to rest. Sienna insisted she shouldn't have shown up and gotten Noah frazzled, and she didn't think it was the time or place to discuss things. She needed to see Noah, but he wanted answers about where the crash occurred. Noah remembered that he and Sienna were together on the night of the accident. The security guard entered the room and questioned who Sienna was and asked her to leave. Noah insisted that Sienna be allowed to stay, and he told him to report to whoever he had to, but she wasn't going anywhere. Sienna explained that they weren't together at the time of the crash, but Noah needed to see that she was safe for himself. She wished she were there because if she were, maybe things wouldn't be the way they were. Sienna confessed that Noah was at the club with her right before the accident, but he had to leave due to a phone call. Sienna assumed it was Nick or Sharon on the phone, but she couldn't be entirely certain. Noah knew it wasn't them who called because of the time difference between Los Angeles and Genoa City. He requested that Sienna retrieve his cell phone so he could review the call logs from the night of the crash. They saw a number on his phone from that night, so Noah didn't want to waste any time, so he thought they should call the number. Sienna cautioned him against it, but Noah's phone died before he could place the call. She panicked, but he promised things would get better, and the two shared a passionate kiss as Nick looked on from outside the room. Sharon returned to the shadow room and insisted that Matt stop pretending to be someone he wasn't. She vowed to stop him from doing anything else to hurt her family. He promised he wasn't who she believed him to be, but she referred to him as a rapist and called him dead inside. She refused to fall for his tricks, and he held his ground as well. He asked her to leave the club and refused to deal with her any longer, but she asked what he wanted with Noah. The young and the restless spoilers note that Mariah Copeland may be falling apart, but her portrayer, Cameron Grimes, is living her best life. News hit that the Y&R star and Daytime Emmy winner recently married her longtime love, Brock Powell. The couple started dating in 2020. Grimes reached out to Powell, a Disney animation voiceover artist, after co-star Bryton James encouraged her to prepare a voiceover demo. They got to know each other over the phone, as this was during the COVID-19 pandemic. Grimes and Powell ended up getting engaged in 2022 when he surprised her with a proposal. As early 2023 rolled around, the twosome found out they were expecting. Grimes told Soap Opera Digest at the time that they were over the moon happy. As we shared the news, it was so heartwarming to see people excited for me because becoming a mother is something that I've wanted for a long, long time. Bridger Elias Powell was welcomed into the world on December 13, 2023. The two had a destination wedding on Saturday, November 8th, in New Orleans, surrounded by a guest list of 75 of their family and friends. Those in attendance included the actress's uncle, actor Scott Grimes from Party of Five fame, longtime friend, General Hospital alum Robert Palmer Watkins, as well as bestie and Y&R colleague Haley Aaron. During a People interview, Grimes revealed they chose the Columns Hotel as a venue because it's a little moody, a little funky, but at the same time very classy and historic. Grimes wore a Kiwaihe Studios two-piece outfit, while Powell donned a rich green suit. The bride walked down the aisle to Yoko Shimomura's Dearly Beloved, a theme from the video games Kingdom Hearts, and the two partook in the Celtic ritual of hand fasting to honor Grimes and Powell's shared Irish and Scottish roots. Grimes and Powell also wrote their vows, and as Disney superfans, Bill Rogers, the voice of Disneyland, was the wedding officiant. The couple is going on a honeymoon to Fiji, followed by a family trip to New Zealand. On behalf of everyone here, we wish Brock Powell and Kamiron Grimes a massive congratulations on their wedding. Give the couple your well wishes below. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Sally Spectra to get betrayed. Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, trades threats with Sharon Newman. Also, Nick Newman tells Sienna Bacall the truth about her husband. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Nick, who went to the hospital to find out why Sienna was with Noah. The man found out through a message from the guard posted at the hospital. Then, Nick went to go see for himself and saw through the window in the door that the two were sharing a passionate kiss. While Sienna was able to cover with the guard, it will be harder with Nick. Especially now that he's seen the kiss. When Nick goes bursting into the room, he will demand answers. However, both Noah and Sienna will remain mysterious about their relationship. When Nick can't find out how long it's been going on or how serious it is, he will try another route. Nick will tell Sienna all about her husband's past. While Sienna seems to have known that Matt/Mitch was hiding something, she might be in for a shock by what Nick tells her. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, November 12th, reveal that Sharon will continue demanding Mitch admit he is Matt. It is teased that while Matt/Mitch issues some threats, Sharon responds with warnings of her own. When Nick and Sharon meet up again, both will have some shocking bombshells to report. Even when Noah gets released, there could still be issues. Matt/Mitch said recently that the Newmans deserve to be punished, so it seems like this is just the beginning. Back in Genoa City, Billy Abbott breaks a promise to Sally. It sounds like he will focus on revenge once again, instead of looking toward the future. It seems like Billy is going to further provoke Adam Newman and Victor Newman. Sally has given Billy chance after chance, but he keeps going back to his old vendetta. So, could this be the straw that breaks the camel's back? It seems Sally could have enough and decide to go her own way. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to check back with Celebrating the Soaps for all the latest Young and the Restless spoilers, news, rumors, comings and goings, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Nick Newman may save Sienna Bacall from Mitch Bacall/Matt Clark's deadly revenge trap. Will Nick be the one who saves Sienna from a deadly revenge trap? Sienna betrayed Mitch with Noah Newman. As a result, Noah's vehicle was run off the road and he was almost killed. Mitch may have gotten revenge on Noah, but he's not done. His wife still has to pay. Will she meet a similar fact to Noah, or will Mitch have another of trying to get revenge on his wife? During that week of November 10th to 14th, spoilers will prove that Mitch is far from done. Mitch will meet with his crooked cop buddy, Detective Burrows, who will be ordered to get the cop away from Noah's hospital room. Mitch obviously has more plans for Noah. Will Sienna face the same? Nick knows Mitch's secret, and he certainly plans to get to the bottom. This, however, Nick is on to Mitch and is determined to take him down before he can cause any more issues. It doesn't seem that Nick can pull off saving Sienna once Matt comes after her and puts Noah in danger again as well. Can Nick manage to keep Noah safe while he is saving Sienna? Will Sharon be the one to save Noah once Mitch comes after Noah again as well? Nick is going to see Sienna making out with Noah in his hospital bed, and that should give them a huge clue to what has been going on. Nick will confront both of them and explain just exactly how much danger they are in. Nick and Sharon could tell Sienna so much about her husband that she would turn and run away from this whole situation. However, Mitch may get Sienna under his control and teach her a lesson. Will Mitch rough up his wife a bit before sending her to the hospital? Will Nick save Sienna before any of this happens? Noah is still recovering from his accident that seems more like attempted murder. Nick will certainly put his son first and make sure that he isn't in any kind of danger. It seems that Nick will save Sienna at the last minute, getting her and Noah to safety. Will Nick step up for Sienna and save her before Mitch can get his hands on her?